Hi everyone, welcome to an Audio Developer Conference 2024 workshop teaser. My name is Wilczek and I'm the founder of the Wolf Sound blog and YouTube channel on audio programming. And today I'm happy to introduce you to Chris Nash, an ADC workshop leader. Hi Chris, how are you?
Hi Jan, great to be here. I'm well, busy but well, got lots to prepare for the ADC.
Awesome, great to hear that. So could you introduce yourself to the audience?
I'm Dr. Chris Nash. I wear many hats. I'm a professional audio developer. I've led projects with Steinberg, Yamaha and the BBC, and a composer. So I've written for film, TV and live concerts. But I'm also an educator, and so I teach audio software development at UE Bristol and Point Blank Music School in London. And so, yeah, that's kind of guiding a lot of what I do, following a PhD at Cambridge, which looked at how to support virtuosity and flow in music software. And more recently, I've founded my own non-profit organisation, Nash Audio, which is looking to support creativity and learning in music technology and especially get people into coding audio.
Great. That all sounds super impressive. And it's all the more interesting because at the Audio Developer Conference 2024, you are exactly going to lead a workshop that is part of your, I guess, educational endeavors. And this workshop is going to be on Klang with a K. Could you briefly demystify for us what Klang is?
Well, Klang is the German word for sound, but it's a play on C-Lang, which is obviously one of the technologies behind C++. And so what Klang is actually a project in two parts, both of which are designed to make C++ more accessible live and expressive for audio. So there's the Klang language, which is an extension to C++. It's just a single header include that you can include in any C++ project, but it adds audio syntax, semantics, and objects to that C++ project, including notably signal flow. So it makes things look a lot more like the block diagrams that we all use in industry. And obviously that's what your own workshop is on at ADC. So it's nice combination there.
Exactly. You can go from one to the other.
Absolutely. So the language doesn't support that, but it just makes C++ look a lot more like block diagrams. So you can kind of just look at the code and think, okay, yeah, that's a reverb or that's a delay or something like that. But the key thing about it is it looks like an audio specialist language. So it kind of has all the advantages of Soul or Faust or SuperCollider, but it's still completely C++. It's 100% C++. So it's got all the portability and performance of that. Professionals can use it, but it just makes C++ a bit easier to learn as well.
Okay, awesome. And you're saying that you can plug and play it, right? So you have C++ source file and you can just include the Klang header and get started.
That's right. It's everything in the Klang extension is in that header. And you just include it in any project. So it'll work in plugins and apps, embedded systems, web audio, so you can compile it very easily to WebAssembly. There's some demos on the Nash Audio website. And one of the other aspects, because C++ is only one of the things that makes our life complex, but there's the IDE as well. So Visual Studio and Xcode, very, very powerful, but they're general purpose. So the other half of the project is called rapIDE, also known as Klang Studio, and rapIDE stands for Rapid Audio Prototyping Interactive Developer Environment. rapIDE is a lot shorter, but it is a complete C++ IDE inside a DAW plugin. So you load up the synth or you load up an effect, and there's this little button in the corner which says Edit C++, and you can edit the code, you can recompile it, it all swaps it out in real time without restarting the DAW inside your host, inside your creative process. But it also brings a lot of things that a general purpose IDE wouldn't have designed for audio. So it's got audio analysis, it's got the built-in Klang dialect, obviously. It can also use C++, so if you just want to use plain C++, you can do that. And one of the things we've developed more recently is live debugging. So you can stop the plugin while it's running in the host and have a root around and find out what's going on. And then continue it. And that was a little tricky to code, but it's definitely worth it.
Awesome. So with all that in place, could you share a little bit more specifically what will be the workshop about then, and what the attendees will concretely learn on this particular workshop?
So the workshop will provide a kind of an introduction to both the language and the tool, and also talk about the context surrounding it. So part of it is about how hard C++ is to learn and how hard it is to get into audio development. Part of it is what's going on professionally, the professional practices and new technologies, and how Klang and rapIDE slot into that. But then, as quickly as possible, I want to get onto just hands-on making stuff. And so the workshop delegates will be making synth and effect VST or audio unit plugins. They don't need any experience, so we'll basically leverage the kind of expressiveness of the Klang language to explain concepts as we go along. But we will be coming out with the same kind of C++ plugins at the end of the process. So this is going to be a great introduction, but also be really interesting for people who are doing this day in, day out on IDEs. And so there'll be hopefully a lot of discussion about the tool, the platform. And I want to, so there's some specific design questions I want to ask. Both people who've never seen this thing before and never done audio programming before, but also people who are doing it all the time and say, well, no, that's not intuitive, let's design that. So kind of consultation on the development roadmap. So yeah, hopefully there's a lot for everyone.
Awesome. And since you mentioned it briefly, could you share a little bit more? What are the prerequisites that one needs to attend the workshop?
I mean, the workshop requires no prior knowledge. If you have some, that's great because you'll be able to understand the context and the advantages and the differences. But it's designed as both a learning tool and a tool for prototyping by professionals. So it should suit all audiences and no one, no knowledge required. We'll explain that as we go along. And in terms of the equipment you need, a laptop, Mac or Windows, and some headphones. Although I'm perfectly happy for the workshop to be a cacophony of noise as well.
Nice. And when you were designing the workshop, did you have any specific audience in mind? So, like, is there some particular group that you would like to target?
No, I'd actually like a real smorgasbord of people there. I like a really diverse audience. I'd love to see beginners there. I want to see the learning aspect of this project. I want to see how people take to it and whether people who are completely starting it from scratch kind of think, oh yeah, actually that's not too scary, in the same way, or in the opposite way, that, oh, C++, that's really scary and I can't even get Visual Studio installed. So
yeah, that's what I said.
So yeah, that perspective, but also this is Klang is C++, and it's something that professionals can use. And for my own purposes, just using it to make the demos, to make sounds, and to make music, it's a really creative, immersive experience in sound design. And far more than if I try to code in C. It kind of brings some of those things that you might use Max or one of those patching environments to, but I'm still making C++, and it's making me feel a lot more creative. So it'd be great to see artists there and composers. So yeah, everyone basically.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing this information on your workshop. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you at ADC 2024. And to all the viewers of this video, don't forget to check out Chris's workshop. It's going to be available both in person and online. So see you there. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Jan. Look forward to seeing you there as well.